Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. This is Amin and that's
Alex.
And as you know, Let's Talk About is a show that we go into great detail about a topic in technology. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the Huawei Mate 30 and Mate 30 Pro. So obviously, there's a lot of interest when it came to the launch of the product. It was launched 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, in Munich.
In Munich. And Alex was there during the event, and he will give you a lowdown on what he thinks about the device, the specs, and everything. We also have the device with here right now, so we're going to talk to you in detail about the Mate 30 Pro. This is the Mate 30 Pro edition. And if you have any questions or anything you want to know, obviously drop it in the comment section below. We'll be more than happy to answer that. Also your feedback and things like that. But beyond that, there's also a lot of confusion about the Mate 30 Pro because of the political climate that's going on. So Donald Trump has put out like a ban on doing business, US companies doing businesses with Chinese companies. And one of the victims is, of course, Huawei. And Android has come in and followed the ban. Not allowing Huawei to use Android. But the situation is not as simple as that, right? Mm-hmm. So there's multiple versions of Android. And then the question is whether Huawei, the Mate 30, Mate 30 Pro will have Android. If it does, which version of Android will it be? And how is it going to affect you guys as users of Huawei devices in the future? So obviously there's a lot of questions about that, and I think it's a good opportunity for us to go into great detail about what is going to happen with Huawei, what's going to happen with Huawei and Android, and how is it going to affect you guys if you are planning to get the Mate 30 or Mate 30 Pro or any Huawei or Honor devices in the future. So we're going to talk about that a little later. For right now, what we're going to go into is, of course, the Huawei Mate 30 and Mate 30 Pro. It was launched in Munich, in Germany. Alex was there firsthand to experience the launch and also the devices. So Alex, take it away. Tell us what happened, what do you think of the launch first, and also then the device.
Well, the launch is like a typical Huawei launch. So you got Richard Yu on stage talking about the device. And similar to last year, even the P series, they always launch two models. So this time they have launched the Mate 30, which is like the standard model, and there's also the Mate 30 Pro, which is the high spec model. So this time, there's a couple interesting things. One of it is the display. Smartphone manufacturers are pushing the limits of display, trying to increase that screen to body ratio kind of thing. Okay. So for the new Mate 30 Pro, it comes with this new horizon display. So it's like your typical dual curve display, but they really stretch it all the way to the edge at the bottom. So normally the metal frame ends in the middle here, but now it's pushed below. So
let's just compare.
Some might call it a waterfall display.
This is obviously the Note 10, right? So maybe Marcus can zoom in. You can see that display curves a lot more than this one. It's I saw the live show. It was 90. It's 90 degrees, right?
88 degrees.
88 degrees. Yes. The Note is.
I can't remember. I think they didn't provide the numbers.
But much less than that, lah.
Yeah.
So from the front once again, and then to the side. All right. So then after the display.
So that's the thing about display. But it still comes with a notch, though. That's the thing, because notch, right, is like a very 2017. iPhone was one of the first to come up with that huge notch, and eventually across the years they were making it smaller and smaller.
So I gotta interrupt you there. That's funny because we talked about the notch in the iPhone episode of Let's Talk About, and I was complaining, hey, the notch on the iPhone 11 is too big. But you told me it's necessary because it houses a lot of sensors, right? So it houses the depth sensor and everything. Is it the same for this one? Is it necessary because of that, or
there is a depth sensor here? So that apparently helps in face unlock. It also gives you a more better portrait shots because you get actual depth sensors. Okay. And another thing is that they actually included a new gesture sensor. So it's a new feature here. So you can actually use your hand to do certain things. Okay. With the Mate 30.
Okay. You wanna try and do that?
Sure. So they call it a gesture mode. So there's only two things you can do right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's something similar to LG, but not quite. So to activate it, you just need to put your palm in front, and you should see like a hand icon. So once that's shown, you can do the a gesture. So one of
you getting this, Marcus? I think. Okay. Let me hold it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So now, if I wanna take a screen cap.
Yeah.
I just grab.
Yep.
Okay, that's the screen cap. And then what else?
And you also can use it for scrolling. So
Okay.
over here, so you can do that. Okay, it's
All
not
right.
working.
Okay. Let's not get into that. But the thing that I think I think we discussed about, right? Okay. So first you talk about the notch.
Yep.
It's too big. 50-50 on that because the iPhone has a notch also, which is comparable in size. It houses sensors, which is kind of like necessary.
Yep.
This has a depth sensor and also a gesture sensor thingy majiggy. Okay, so we know that the depth sensor is necessary for face
unlock
and stuff like that. It's
and
more
bokeh,
accurate.
yes.
It's arguable whether it's
necessary.
It's going to do bokeh any good. I'm not sure about that. But this gesture sensor thing, which is okay, so Huawei is not the first one that has it. LG had a similar thing going on with their device. And we tested that in Mobile World Congress. I think Rory did like a full-on detail about that. Zachary's going to put a video and show you how it works. We played around with that, and in comparison, I think that one is more accurate than this, and you can do more stuff. So if you like move your hand like that, it will increase the volume.
Yes.
And if you like,
you can do left and right to launch apps.
It's programmable.
Yes, it's customizable.
And also that you can skip tracks, and so you can do a lot more. It's essentially the same technology. The point I want to make is that it's quite gimmicky.
Yep.
It's very gimmicky, as you can see. So we demonstrated that. The other thing I wanna talk about is that a lot of the things on the Mate 30 and Mate 30 Pro are actually very gimmicky.
Yep.
Right. So you want to go into
Okay.
I'll let you talk about.
Okay, another thing is that because of this horizon display, right? So because they stretch the screen all the way into the back, supposedly there's little room for buttons. So one thing that's missing here is a volume button. So
But
there's
there is a power button though.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't get it. So to adjust the volume on the Mate 30 Pro, you need to double tap at the sides, at the edge, and then this thing comes up. Then you can scroll. Let me do it again.
It's so gimmicky, man.
And you can do this on both sides. So you can do the other hand. Yeah, there you go. But the thing is, you need to double tap and scroll. And it doesn't work all the time. It's not as reassuring, it's not as accessible as a physical button. And like you mentioned, there is a power button here. So if there's room for this, why not put a volume rocker here?
Yeah. What's so hard how difficult is it to put a volume rocker?
Yeah,
right?
I guess they want to showcase, we have this technology that you can do this.
Again, man, it's a huge gimmick lah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other cool features also. So the sensors at the front have that tilt thing.
Yeah, the AI tilt rotation lock thing.
So one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have is when you're viewing a phone and then when you lie down, right, and you want it to be in vertical mode or something like that. No, that's locked.
You want landscape, yeah.
Okay, you want it landscape, right, and then you have to like scroll down into the settings, turn off the
rotation lock,
and then it will go into landscape mode. With this one, it detects your face. And as you tilt your head, it will also tilt the display by itself, which is I think is kind of cool. So can you demonstrate that? See how it works?
So there's two scenarios. Okay, like this. Scenario one is this, whereby you move your head together with the phone, so you can see it still maintains portrait mode. And then scenario number two is you maintain the position of the phone, and then you just tilt your head. Pretty clever. So with this, right, you don't need to fiddle around with the rotation settings anymore.
Okay, so I think that's pretty cool.
It's pretty smart.
Aside from the other gimmick stuff, but the specs of the device, so the Mate 30, what's the difference between the Mate 30 and Mate 30 Pro?
The biggest difference will be the display, of course. So the Mate 30 Pro is the device that comes with this new Horizon display.
Okay.
It's also OLED.
Okay.
But the thing about this is that it's pushing Full HD Plus resolution. So the previous Mate 30 Pro was a Quad HD. Yeah, so this like slightly downgraded in terms of resolution.
Okay. The Mate 30?
The Mate 30, okay, the standard model, it gets a larger display. It's a 6.62 inch.
Okay. But no Horizon?
No Horizon, it's a flat display.
Oh, no 3D? No 3D glass?
No 3D glass, it's flat. It's a flat one. And then it also pushes Full HD Plus.
Oh,
it's also OLED as well.
But camera-wise?
The camera is a difference as well. So, okay, you know the leaked photos? So all you see is the quad camera setup, right? So only this device gets the true quad cameras.
Mate 30 Pro gets the quad camera.
Yeah.
What do you mean by true quad camera?
Because the Mate 30, the standard version, right, you still see 4 holes. But the 4th hole, right, it's not a camera, it's actually the laser autofocus sensor. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was thinking that, okay, maybe there's another like a macro camera or something like that, but it's not.
So there's no macro camera on this, right?
No. So basically, to recap on the specs, so the Mate 30 Pro gets two 40 megapixel sensors.
40.
Yeah, 40.
Okay.
So usually on the previous Huawei flagships, you only get one for the main.
Okay.
So now you get a 40 megapixel for the ultra wide angle lens. So that means you can get really detailed shots for ultra wide angle.
Okay.
And in terms of zoom, it still retains the same old 8 megapixel camera. I mean, similar to the Mate 20 and also the previous P20 Pro. It's 8 megapixels that can do 3 times optical zoom and 5 times hybrid.
Okay.
Yeah. And the fourth one is a 3D ToF sensor, similar to the P30 Pro.
Which is like pretty standard lah.
Yeah.
And then you have the battery. The battery is pretty huge on
It's
this
huge.
one.
So the Mate 30 Pro comes with a 4,500 mAh battery.
Okay.
Yes.
The Mate 30?
The Mate 30 is 4,200.
Still quite
Yeah,
huge.
it's
Both
still
of them
huge.
are on the 990 processor,
Yes,
right? Both of them are
Kirin 990.
using Kirin 990.
Yeah, and there's two versions.
How many gigs
This,
of RAM? Okay, the two versions
The
are?
two versions. One's the 5G version, and this is the 4G version which we have here, and which is one that slightly come to Malaysia.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's, and what RAM are we running?
So the standard Mate 30 comes with 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage.
Okay.
And the Mate 30 Pro comes with 8 gigs of RAM and at least 256 gigs of storage.
And the storage, it's expandable, but with the
NM card.
The Huawei NM card, right?
Yeah.
Aside from that, anything else you want to call out with regards to the devices?
Okay, in terms of smartphones, right, can you live without stereo speakers?
For now, I can't. I guess I was spoiled when I used my iPhone, and I can't go back to mono speakers because it really kacau my viewing experience. So yeah, I can't. I mean, and it's a flagship device. It should have stereo speakers. What are you talking about?
That's what I thought as well. But
Yeah.
the thing is, this doesn't have stereo speakers. And that's because the top earpiece, right, is gone. They replaced it with the on-screen speaker.
The vibration thing.
The vibration thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And for me, I think it's
sucks.
unnecessary because
Yeah.
you have a huge notch here, right? There's no reason why you can't spare an earpiece at the top.
Yeah.
It's the same problem with the P30 Pro, which I think Rory complained about as well.
Okay, so before we go into a lot of the other stuff, I just want to chime in on what I think about the Mate 30 Pro. The Mate series started out as a business device. It started out to be like a Note competitor. And then when the Mate 20 came out, I think there was like a major confusion because it's very close to what the P20 is.
Yes.
Same camera, maybe a slightly larger display,
Yep.
not a lot of business features. And now the Mate 30 comes along with the Mate 30 Pro, and instead of more business features to like clearly separate the P30 and the Mate 30, it's now more gimmicky features. Like the gesture control and whatever. I've lost the plot. I don't know what Mate stands for anymore versus the P series. P was supposed to be photography.
Or last time, initially it was supposed to be the compact flagship.
Yeah.
Mate's supposed to be big screen, big battery.
But the P stands for photography,
yeah.
and Mate is for business. It's like your mate for doing business.
Yeah.
I think that's gone down the drain. I cannot say that this is a business phone compared to even the iPhone. I think that is more of a business phone than this one. Primarily because the iPhone is more secure. Apple talks a lot about security and things like that with the iPhone. And the Note 10 is similar. So Note has Knox, which is like enterprise grade security you get right out of the box with any Note 10 device. Huawei does not talk about that a lot during the launch. I think it was just like a breeze.
Yeah, remember last time they used to have the desktop mode that debuted with the Mate 10.
Yes.
So that time was quite revolutionary because wow, you can use your phone as a computer.
Yeah, like
And
a
it's
replacement,
computer.
right?
Yeah.
But
now,
it doesn't have that anymore.
I'm pretty sure they still have, but they didn't talk much about it. Maybe there's no new improvements, and eventually that feature, right, it was available on the P series. So at the end, right, what's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference, right?
So now the Mate is basically another flagship device. But for me, when I asked Huawei's representative quite a while back, they were telling me that, okay, the difference is the P series is always about giving you the latest innovation in camera, whereas the Mate series is a device that's going to show you the latest AI and latest processor, which is true because it came with the latest Kirin 990.
Okay.
But in terms of camera, right, it's also an improvement over the P30. I mean, you got a 40 megapixel ultra wide camera.
And then, okay, so back to the camera. Huawei has has, I think, really blown the competition out of the water when it comes to cameras. Even for the Mate 30 Pro, right?
Yep.
We've just gotten the DxO Mark scores. It got 131, right?
Yep.
And it's the highest score ever in DxO Mark.
A new benchmark.
But for videos, it's not so great.
It's improved. It's still the best for Huawei, but it's still 1 point below the Samsung.
And you know, we have a video of us taking the moon using the P30 Pro way back when it was launched earlier today. Zachary will put that video here somewhere. And I think all of us can say that we're pretty blown away by Huawei's camera capability. Before the Note 10 launch, I had an iPhone and a Mate 20 Pro. So for the reason for the Mate 20 Pro was just because camera. So I just used it for taking pictures, especially using the night mode. The night mode is like super epic. I guess that's still available in the Mate 30, but the competition now is coming really close to what the Mate can do, what Huawei phones can do, Huawei flagship phones can do. The iPhone 11 has night mode. You tested that, and it's quite good. The Note 10 also has night mode. While it's not as impressive, it's still pretty good, and I don't mind having just one device in my pocket if for taking pictures. So I don't know, man. With the controversies aside, right, the scandals and the bans aside, right, I don't know. I'm not feeling the Mate 30.
For me, I think the Mate 30 is more, okay, in terms of the core stuff that they do well, like the camera is more like a refinement. I mean, like for example, it takes awesome pictures on the main sensor. You can expect some improvements because of better AI power. And also for ultra wide angle lens, because right now everyone's doing ultra wide angle lens. So what's the next thing? So what they did was to improve that quality further by putting a larger sensor.
To the normal people, what they're going to do is they're just going to go to the showroom, right? And then they're just going to try the camera, and if it goes like, whoa, this is good, I'm just going to buy it. A 40 megapixel camera, wide angle camera on a phone, you're not going to be able to differentiate that between the iPhone or the Note 10 just by the screen itself. So a lot of people, I don't know. I mean, and there's a lot of compromises with this thing. You mentioned to me that
the earpiece is gone.
The earpiece is gone, and then the bulges, right? You mentioned like they hide the bezel. While they say it's bezel-less, they actually hide the design in the body, right?
Yeah, so
the thickness.
It's a bit thicker here on the top.
Okay, so let me see if I can bring that in, so you can see, right? Okay, Alex, can you point it out?
So let's say the screen ends here, right? So but you see this metal frame is quite thick. Like normally most of the phones, they will try to shave it off as thin as possible. So the sides are thin, but the top and bottom is a little bit thick.
It bulges. It's a bit fat. So I guess you want to say, okay, it has a 4,500
it's a big
battery. But I don't know, the device feels very thick in the hand. The first time I saw it, I was blown away by the display. I think this Horizon display is really nice, but I don't like that it doesn't have buttons. And I don't know, it feels rushed to me. I don't like that this finish is like this. So the iPhone 11 has this really, not new lah, it was first shown on the Pixel 3, right?
Sony Xperia Z5. There's a frosted glass.
With the frosted finish, right?
Yes,
okay,
nice.
And then after that, people started experimenting with like all the pearl effects and
gradients,
laser cut effects and textures and stuff like that. But on Huawei, you have this metallic glass color finish.
I kind of like the color. I mean, I like this ring as well. I mean, some people might not like it, but I find it's very iconic.
It's iconic lah. So you want to put it in your ear, right, and talk, right, and people are going to see what phone you have, right? And then so you have this one. Okay, take a look. You have this one, right? Okay, and then you have the Note, which is not iconic lah because it's like the P30. Right?
It looks like any other phone. Other people are doing this design.
Okay, so and then we have the iPhone 11, which is distinctive. I think it's distinctive. And then you have the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So, okay, which one is nicer, viewers? Tell me which one you think. So we have that, and. I don't have enough hands.
Okay, let me do this.
Okay, yeah. I don't know, that round shape is
It's iconic. I mean,
Okay, we talked about this.
Yeah.
I think the square shape is nice because let's put this down. You got that? You get it already? Okay. I think the square shape is nice because
the Mate 20 Pro.
yeah, the Mate 20 Pro
Okay.
because it had a story behind it. The Mate 20 Pro had that square design because of its Porsche lineage, I
Yes.
would say.
Yep.
It was modeled after the
Porsche
916 or something like that. I
Yeah.
can't remember. So there's a nice story to tell. With this, what's it called? A halo ring?
A Halo ring, yeah.
So they call this the halo ring. I don't know. It looks. I'm sorry to say, this looks very Chinese. This is very like made in China kind of design.
Well, it just sounds like, look at me, I'm a huge camera.
Exactly. That's like a made in China kind of design. I mean, okay. So you would argue like this is kind of look at me, I have a big camera design as well. But I don't know, it's done nicely, and there is a story to tell. So we talked about this in the iPhone episode, right?
Yep.
It's done in a way that the lens doesn't shift.
Yeah.
So when you transition between lenses, it feels
Seamless. It looks like- it feels like it's one camera with different-
yeah. But this one,
This one is like, you obviously can see the shift. Obviously, when you change modes, you feel like you're changing cameras. Whereas this one, it feels like it's one camera,
camera.
but 3 lenses,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
and I don't know. You tell me, frosted finish
With this kind of camera layout, or this
or
glossy finish
metallic
with,
finish
with a round bump.
or the note. I don't have the note in the very nice aura
Aura.
glow color. It's a more classy aura black. So this is aura black.
This two definitely stands out. This one is too overused, this design.
The color.
The color and also
Yeah.
the camera bump.
And then I noticed, right, this one does not have a screen protector.
I don't think you can get a screen protector for this phone. It's like,
So,
I'm going to put a screen
Because
protector
of the
on.
horizon display, you're not
Yeah.
going to get a screen protector. But typically, Huawei devices have screen protectors, right?
Yep.
I know the Mate 30 has it. The
Yep.
Mate
Mate 20
Mate 20 has it.
The
P20 has it. The P30 has it. So, okay, my takeaway for this, we're running out of time. My takeaway for this is that it feels like a compromise. I don't know. I don't feel attracted to it. I can't. Okay, I can say why. The volume buttons, although you don't think about it so much, you will miss it because it's not there anymore. It's very gimmicky. This camera, I don't know, not my thing. The design of it, not for me lah. This thing. Specs wise, okay, I can say 4,500 mAh is huge. And because it runs on Kirin, which is one of the best processors out there in terms of battery usage, I can tell you this will have like a really amazing battery life, at least in theory, until Alex tests it out fully.
I won't be surprised you can get 2 days, man.
Yeah,
Because
but-
like, you know, Kirin processors 980 is damn awesome. You can get like 6 hours of screen on time easily.
no problems, right?
Yeah, no problems.
With full on usage, right?
Yep.
I think the notch, okay, the notch is personal opinion lah. Some people are okay with it, some people are not. I have a problem with that.
Okay, I have a problem with this for Android because Android you have notification icons.
Okay.
And that actually limits the number of icons you can show up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about Android right after this. What else I don't like? I don't like that it doesn't have stereo speakers. I don't like that it uses the screen vibration thing, because that's always not as loud and not as full as normal speakers.
The biggest annoyance is that why are they sacrificing things that matter the most to its
Yeah,
fans?
to
Like
the
for
fans.
example, like stereo speakers. I'm pretty sure a lot of people complain that the P30 Pro doesn't have stereo speakers
Yeah.
because you had that on the previous models.
Yeah.
But why are you removing this? And
Yeah.
another thing is you made fun of the notch. You're aware that people hate the notch.
Yep.
At least for Android fans.
Yep.
But why are you keeping it there? I mean, Huawei has a lot of other ways of going around this. You have a punch hole display,
Yep.
you have a pop-up camera. Why don't you do that?
This is, I think, a good point to talk about like specs. So we talked about specs. I think I talked
Yep.
about specs with Rory. It doesn't mean that if you have like high specs of everything, right, that the phone is going to be good. The Huawei Mate 30 Pro has the latest and greatest of everything that Huawei can come up with. And I'm not going to argue with regards to whether the display is good, whether the processor is good, whether the battery is good, because I know those things are going to be good. What bothers me is that you put them all together in one package, right? And it's not attractive to me. I cannot say why.
It's like the.
All right,
it's-
so let's,
okay.
okay, you sum it up. What do you think?
For me, yeah, it's a great upgrade into hardware, top notch, great screen, and all that. But why are you taking things that people want? Like why you remove the volume rocker? I mean, you can just keep it there. And what's up with the notch? You know, I mean, sorry, not notch, the earpiece. Why you remove it?
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys, volume rocker, ada tak ada? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Notch, yes or no? Let us know in the comments whether you think it's okay to have notch. And
Stereo speakers. Are you okay without
Yeah.
stereo speakers?
okay, the things that you have is IP68 rating,
Yep.
whatever, all that, fast charging, all that is available.
Fast wireless charging as well.
Reverse wireless charging, everything
Top
got lah.
notch. Yeah, got a lot.
I don't know, but again, okay. My point is, it has a lot of good things, but it compromises on a lot of the details, and for me, I have a problem with that. For you,
Same as well.
you feel the same way. Okay, we talked about the Mate 30 and the specs and the details and what it has, what it doesn't have, what we feel about it. A lot of confusion that comes out from this is not the device itself, but what's going to be available or what's going to be not available in the device, which is Android. So there's been a lot of discussion. During our Mate 30 coverage, a lot of you guys asked, will it have Android? What kind of Android will it have? Will it have Google services? So we're going to go into detail and talk about that and what it means to you and whether it's going to be available in Huawei devices like the Mate 30, Mate 30 Pro, maybe Huawei devices in the future. So I'm gonna let Alex chime in first. There are two versions of Android. So can you explain about that? Okay.
So basically, there's the typical Android that's with the full Google license apps and services, like what you get from Samsung, Huawei devices.
Okay, so that's the Android that you get with the devices.
Global sets.
Okay.
Yeah.
With
Google.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then it comes with Android services. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start that again. So there's one, the typical version of Android, which you get on all devices.
Yeah.
And then number two.
Number two is basically the open source version of Android, which is like what you get from the Chinese sets, because in China, right, you don't need Google services because you can't access them in the first place. So it's basically an open source Android, and what you get is the preloaded apps that's relevant to China, and most of the manufacturers, they have their own app store. Like Xiaomi has Mi Store, Vivo their own Vivo Store, and Huawei has their own app gallery.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this open source Android is called is this project called the Android Open Source Project, right? The difference between the Android that Google works with a lot of the device manufacturers with, and this Android is like a bare bones Android.
Yeah, you can see something like that.
You don't get Google
Google's-
services.
yeah.
So a lot of people don't think about Google services because it's already available on all of the Android devices that you get officially. The problem is right now, those services might not be available in the Mate 30 Pro
Yeah, it
and
is-
the Mate 30, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much confirmed, because even before the launch of the Mate 30, it was reported that a Google representative has confirmed that the Mate 30 will not be sold with licensed apps and services because of the current ban.
Okay, so that means they Huawei will use. Okay, so number one, the ban is in effect.
Yes.
So previously it was extended, right?
No, here's the
Okay.
thing I don't get it, because the actual full ban hasn't been in effect yet.
Okay.
They have been given like a reprieve over again. I think 30 days, sorry, 90 days, another 90 days. And remember the Honor 20 Pro, the Nova 5T, those were approved during that temporary session.
And those devices were launched, I think, a month before, like
Yeah, a few months
within the
before.
same period, lah, right?
A few months before, around July, August.
Okay.
And those were approved. So
Okay.
you're certified to install Google apps and services.
Okay, that means it's still within like a development window, lah, right?
Yeah, I guess maybe the second reprieve, the US government got a little bit tighter, so it restricts on how much Google can work with Huawei.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe that's one of the reasons why. So without that certification, you can pre-install these apps and services on the phone.
All right. So you're gonna lose out on Google Maps,
Gmail,
YouTube,
Play Store, most importantly.
yeah, Play Store, and a few other things. When you start using a device that doesn't, so when you get the Mate 30 and the Mate 30 Pro, it will feel familiar because it has Android, but you cannot install Chrome.
Yep.
You cannot install YouTube. You cannot install it directly. Like you cannot install it like how you install it on an Android phone.
Firstly, when you start the phone, you notice one difference.
It doesn't say Android.
You would not asked to log in with Google account. That's the one thing that you always get on devices because it's not part of Google mobile services.
That's scary.
So you'll be logging in, I guess you'll be asked to sign in with a Huawei ID. Yeah. And after install, the second thing you notice is that there's no Google App Store. So what you get is a Huawei App Gallery, which is basically Huawei's proprietary store, which they've been promoting for quite a while.
Huawei App Gallery, if you can see there.
Yeah.
So there's App Gallery, and there's also the Huawei proprietary browser, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like essentially it's like
It's like a Chinese phone lah.
It's a Chinese phone. Like you buy an 80 set from China, that's what you get.
Okay, so there are workarounds. You can install custom ROMs that allow you to use Play Store, Google services, and things like that. The problem is security and privacy. So already the main concern with Huawei and America is that apparently America is saying that Huawei spies. So it's compromised, inherently compromised, not just in the software. So compromise in terms of security, there's layers, okay? We have the hardware layer, which is like the hardware is manufactured in a secure facility and you trust that facility. So if you control end to end, there is no vulnerability built into the hardware layer itself. Number two is the OS. So the OS also is secure, you trust the OS, and there's no vulnerability built into the OS. A vulnerability is like a backdoor that people who know the location of that backdoor can open it and do a lot of things to your device. And then on top of that is the app layer, the software, right? So that software, again, if you design it with a backdoor that people know, then people can access it. Then, now, if you tell me that, oh, okay, I have McAfee antivirus on my thing, so it's going to be secure. Not quite. Because if there is a backdoor in the hardware layer, people can just open that backdoor and change everything.
They can exploit anytime.
Yeah, they can uninstall the McAfee and install a fake McAfee, and you think it's real, but it's not, and you wouldn't know it because somebody has full control of the device at the hardware layer itself. The question is this phone. It doesn't have Android. I mean,
it has Android.
It doesn't have the secure Android that we know of. And if you want to install those services, you can side load it. And side loading means you actually get the installation file of an app and then install it on the device. Am I correct?
Yes, and the thing is, usually on normal circumstances, any Android phone, right, if you're going to side load, they're going to give you a warning. Are you sure you want to do this? Because it exposes you to vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Because you're granting access to something that's unknown.
Access is one thing.
Yeah.
You don't know the version of the app.
Yeah, and then you don't know who's behind the app. Like for example, even APK files on normal phones, they don't really recommend that because you never know. That could be like a fake APK file.
Yeah.
And you give access to it and they can do all sorts of things. Unlike the Google App Store, the Google Play Store, whereby there's Google Protect. So they verify that these apps are free from any malicious codes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have that protection if you're going to sideload. Basically, it's like you're taking something alien and put it in without any checks whatsoever.
Yeah. Okay. So Alex, you wrote about this thing that you can do with the phone that allows you to have Android services in like 10 seconds, right? What's that?
Or 10 minutes.
Okay.
So basically, there's so apparently someone found a workaround behind around the ban. So it's very easy. All you need to do is to go to a site with a web browser and then click on download, and it will download an app which will automatically install the Google framework that's necessary for you to run your Gmail, YouTube.
What's
and all
a
that.
Google framework?
Frameworks are basically like how would I keep it simple terms? So basically, it's like the base layer access so that you can access Google mobile services.
Okay.
Yeah, and from there, there's a reason. And with that installed, you can use your Gmail, YouTube with one single sign-in.
Just like how you would do in a normal Android, as a full Android device lah.
Yeah, which has always been pre-installed on all Android devices.
Okay, but is that framework the legit Android framework, or is it like a version that can be utilized? I mean, is it secure?
I can't answer that because number one is that site, the site that they use to download the APK. We don't know who's behind it. It's definitely not Google.
How does it look like? Does it look shady or?
It looks presentable, but the thing is, it's some random site.
Okay.
We don't know who's behind it.
Yeah, so we don't know who's behind it.
Yeah.
It's not by Google.
Like even Xiaomi and Vivo, right? Like if you get the Vivo Chinese phone, right?
Like a Chinese set.
Right? To download that kind of installer is actually from the official Vivo store. So at least you know, okay, it's approved by Vivo or approved by Xiaomi. So at least
Okay
it looks more legit.
okay.
But this is some random site on the web.
Okay, what's stopping Huawei from making like an official version of this framework thing?
I don't think they're allowed. They can't because they're not allowed in the first place. Google does not allow them to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have a license to do so. So if you're going to do something like that, I think it's going to be, it's going to be a legal battle.
When I think when this video comes out, the device is already in Malaysia.
Yeah, possibly.
You've been talking to a lot of the Huawei people. You've been talking to a lot of the Google people. When this device goes into the market here in Malaysia,
instead of Google mobile services, all devices will be running on Huawei's mobile services. So that's their own version of the Google Call stuff.
Okay.
And to use your applications, they have the Google App Gallery. So they have the Huawei App Gallery. They've been trying very hard to get as many developers on board. Like for example, in Malaysia, you can find Grab, you can find Boost, you can find even Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram on the App Gallery. But you don't get your YouTube, your banking apps.
I guess you can watch YouTube on the browser lah, right?
But that's not ideal. You want a proper application because you want a notification, you want to be signed in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can sign in on the browser as well.
Yeah, but it's not as polished
It's not
as
an app experience, it's a browser experience lah.
Yeah, and like Gmail, you want the native Gmail app, right?
Here's the concern I have with this method. Who verifies the security and validity of the apps in the App Store in the Huawei App Gallery?
Huawei does it
So
themselves.
you have to trust that Huawei does it lah, but
according to Huawei, they're more stringent than Google.
Okay, so
But you do know, right? Google sometimes there's some apps that's malicious, but they fail to detect.
that's true, but you know that they will fix it. And I think if I have to choose whether I trust Google or Huawei more, I think I trust Google more than Huawei. When you get the device in Malaysia, you don't get any of this Android stuff.
Google Apps and Services.
Google Apps and Services. You won't be able to download any Android apps.
Try Google Apps.
Google apps and Android apps too, right?
These are all Android apps.
Yeah, but there's no Play Store, so I can't download Outlook, for example.
If it's available on App Gallery, you can.
If it's available,
Yeah.
so I don't know. Can you check whether it's available?
This is a Chinese set, so it's a bit different. But
Okay.
if I check on the Malaysian unit, you still can get Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. It's available.
So it's all available.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
But Microsoft apps, I couldn't find it. It's not listed yet.
it heightens my awareness of security and vulnerability on a device. So previously, when you have a phone, right, you don't really think about all these things. You just log in and whatever lah.
Yeah, everything is safe because
Yeah.
it's all protected by Google, right?
Yeah, and then now it's like, I don't know, man. This device is like a door to weird things.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this: would you do it? Would you, if you're a typical user, would you want to get this?
If I'm getting for the camera, yeah, sure. But in terms of apps, I probably use it as my personal phone. But in terms of work with sensitive stuff, probably not.
But your personal stuff is more sensitive than your work stuff, way.
I mean, it depends.
Your
for
personal
fun.
stuff. Okay, I think you brought a good point. For a camera, maybe yes. But is the camera that good that you're willing to sacrifice security and privacy just for the camera? You also mentioned that you tried out the iPhone 11 Pro Max and you think the camera is good also.
Yeah.
So is this that good that you're gonna say, look, I'm gonna screw everything, I don't care, I'm just gonna download some weird shit from the internet and whatever lah, because the camera is good?
Okay, for me, honestly, if let's say if this is going to be my only phone, probably not. If let's say I want to get a Huawei device, I probably get a P30 Pro.
Because it has full Android.
Yeah.
Here's also another thing. So device makers like the Samsung, they commit to security updates every month. Yep. So you get like an update every month because of security patches and things like that. Will that be available on the Huawei?
Based on history, Huawei has been very proactive as well.
Even with the plain Android.
That's something that's yet to be seen.
And they've not committed to that, right? During the presentation, they didn't
mention. You probably get EMUI updates, but whether does that include the latest security updates, that I'm not too sure. That's the difference.
So I watched the live stream. Alex was there live himself in Munich. I think, okay, do you agree with me to say that with regards to security and privacy and all these things to assure us that Huawei is taking care of our interests, they just skimmed through it.
Yeah, I mean, that's something they need to convince consumers, because that's a huge question mark right now. Because, okay, all right, there's a workaround on this, but then again, number one, like you mentioned, security updates.
Yeah.
Can they get it without Google support? That's something that's not answered right now. And can it get Android 11, for example? That I'm also not sure.
On its own, right, I think as a flagship, with the minor niggles I mentioned just now, the things
gimmicky
that
stuff.
the gimmicky stuff, the things that are missing, I think it's competitive.
The hardware is great.
It's competitive.
Yep.
Processor is great. Hardware, I'm not so sure. Display is okay, great also, despite it being a full HD plus. But not having the Android, right, just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. You guys as a user, right, you want a seamless experience, meaning that if you buy a device, you want to be able to use it right away. And to me, what Huawei is asking me to do when I buy the Mate 30 is to like download the whatever, to be able to use it like the way I want to use it. For a majority of the users out there, this is too much.
Yep.
It's asking too much of me to do it. I know there are a lot of people out there who download custom ROMs, custom launchers,
Yep.
custom everything because you want to custom your phone. But you guys know what you're doing. You guys know the risk involved. You guys know that, okay, you know, this is not for the non-experts lah. But for a lot of people out there who are just going to buy the device, it's asking too much.
Yeah, it's a big risk.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think, Alex? Chime in.
For me,
give us your thought.
I think I share sentiments as you. Like for me, like as I said in my first impression video, right? For the normal person on the streets, you want a phone that you can unbox, you can just sign in and use all your favorite apps without any compromises. But this is compromise. I mean, it's like I can't be 100% sure that all my apps work. I can't be 100% sure that I can watch Netflix in HD, for example, because I'm not sure whether it's certified.
Does this have Netflix?
We won't know until we sideload it, because this
Holy shit.
doesn't have Play Store. And you don't get
And Netflix is not on
App Gallery yet. Yeah,
Um,
you can sideload it, but I'm not sure whether it can run in HD quality.
Okay, so the other big deal for me is Google Photos and cloud services.
Yeah, you can sideload that, but then again, the security is another
No,
question.
can I sync my cloud stuff here?
You can if
My
you install.
Google Cloud. So
If you install the framework, you can, but again, like your
oh
concern
no,
is security.
man, that exposes my cloud to this framework that's really weird.
Yeah, which we don't know whether it's 100% secure.
So okay, without the framework, my cloud is useless here, right?
I think it can work, but I'm not sure. I haven't tried
I
it.
can't download Android G Drive. It's not in App Gallery, right?
It's not App Gallery. Google's apps are not available in App Gallery. You need to install the
I
framework.
can't use G Drive. I can't use Google Photos. I can't use Gboard,
Yeah.
which I'm using. You're using.
Yep.
A lot of the people here are using Gboard. A lot of
Yep.
people here are using Google Photos. Everybody here uses Google Drive.
Yep.
And installing the framework would just expose all that to some weird stranger that might be able to take advantage.
Because you're granting it permission, you don't know what it's going to do with it.
It's scary
Yeah.
shit, man.
So that's the huge concern. So
I mean-
for me, if you want to get a Huawei phone, get a P30 Pro.
Okay, so I wrote about when the ban dropped, right? When Donald Trump announced the ban, I talked about there are two scenarios. Number one is this is just a gimmick. They won't follow through with this because there's just too much at stake. Huawei pays billions of dollars to American companies for business. It's revenue that American companies need, and you know, if there's no replacement for that, they might lobby the government to drop the ban. Scenario number two is they follow through, and what's going to happen is people are just going to move away from Huawei. They're just going to like, okay, look, this is just too much effort. There's really not much of an advantage for me getting a Huawei device. I'm just going to go with the next best thing, maybe an iPhone, maybe a Samsung. It looks like that scenario is happening right now.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether, but then again, things might change. I'm not too sure. I mean,
Well,
if
okay, when you say change, right? Will it change when? Okay, when is this device dropping in Malaysia?
I'm not sure yet. They haven't announced.
There's no launch
There's
date.
no official launch date yet. It's going on sale in China, but that's all because I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, so that's wild for me because the tables have turned.
That used to be very fast, right? A
The
week
iPhone
after.
11, for example, was announced 2 weeks ago, right? Or 3 weeks ago, less than a month ago. And
We're getting 2 weeks. Yeah.
usually, Apple will not announce when it's available in Malaysia because it's about a couple of months late, at least a month late.
Yeah.
So they will announce it later lah. During the event, was it during the event?
Yep. They didn't announce any availability dates.
No, for Apple.
Apple,
During the
okay.
event, they announced Malaysia should be on the 27th, close to the event lah.
During the event, they only announced the first wave, but after that,
Right after that, right?
there's a press.
The
release.
tables have turned because previously, Malaysia will be the first wave of Huawei devices. We will always get a mention and we will always get a date. Now we don't even know when this is going to come. Maybe it's going to come next week or when
It should be soon.
this video comes out.
Yeah. But for me, it's that
That is crazy.
there's a chance that it might run official Android with the Google services. If
Why
the
do you
ban
say that?
If the ban is reversed, there's a possibility that this can still run on Google apps and services.
Okay, so for the Huawei fans out there, to fix this is just a matter of a EMUI update lah, right?
They can just flash ROM or
Yeah,
something.
so they can just. You need to flash the ROM,
possibly.
or maybe it's an
Yeah.
OTA. I
because
don't know.
it's actually this like a Chinese set.
But if you have to flash the ROM, that means I have to bring it back to the store. I have to uninstall everything. I have to
Backup,
remove my pictures.
That's why if you're not willing to go through the trouble, if you must get the Huawei phone, the best bet right now is the P30 Pro and the new version with the Auto design that comes with Android 10 out of the box.
Okay.
That's the last device with Android.
We're running out of time. We're going to sum this up. Okay, Alex, what's your takeaway for this?
Impressive device, but because of the ban, it's hard to recommend this device.
In terms of the Android perspective, okay.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think this is the first time we realize how important Google is in terms of the Android ecosystem. And this is proof that, without Google services, it's quite compromised. It's a great device. I like the screen, the camera is promising, good battery. But without Google apps and services, it's hard to recommend this.
Okay, here's my summary. I think it's pretty much close to what Alex is saying. But the other big issue I have is that if you are going to go out and buy this,
It's not going to be cheap though. It's going to be like maybe 4,000 or 3,000.
so it's going to be about $4,000. It doesn't have the Android that you know. So if anybody out there that wants to sell you this device, you go to the kedai, right, and then the shop guy says, "Oh, this has Android, right?" Think twice or think 3 times. This doesn't have the Android that you're familiar with. And while it is a great device, it is asking too much of me as a consumer just so that I can use it like any other Android. And it's not that great for me to be able to do that. And even if it was, or even if it is, I'm not willing to sacrifice my privacy and security. I don't know, there's this flavor already in my mouth. It's just, I don't, I kesian Huawei lah.
Yeah, they're a very tough spot. Unless maybe there's another workaround from a more credible source, then maybe I could consider.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what a lot of the security experts are going to say when this device actually comes out and they're going to try it out. I'm sure there will be a lot of people chiming in to say, okay, whether side loading it or whether installing a framework would work. I mean, it's not anything new, but this is new for Huawei because they don't have the official support, and that's very critical as we know. So, what do you think? Whether would you get it if you have if you are the sacrifices enough? Is the device great enough for you to sacrifice a lot of things, or it's not? Or are you or if you have any questions or comments, let us know. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. We're running out of time. Once again, thanks everybody for joining and spending your time listening to what we have to say here in LTA. We've just talked about the Mate 30 and Android and the current situation. The takeaway is that the hardware is really good.
Yep.
But
the software-wise, the software side of things is compromised.
That's a lot of questions.
Yeah,
And you want to say something?
that's about it.
There's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, we value your feedback, we thrive, and we really improve our videos with your comments. So please let us know what we can do better. If you have any topics you want us to talk about in LTA, please suggest them below. Obviously, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell icon so you'll be notified every time we produce a new video. This is Amin.
This is Alex.
And this is LTA. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.